Is Naruto a genius? Most people would say no. And why shouldn't they? The manga and especially the anime have made it very clear that Naruto isn't quite the smartest character in his show. He failed the academy 3 times, got 0 points in the written Shunin exams, had almost no knowledge about the fundamentals of chakra, to the point where he couldn't even perform a single jutsu at the start of his series. Heck, he didn't even know how to properly control his chakra until chapter 21. And according to the Boruto anime, Naruto is still a genin at the age of 32. That's the lowest rank a ninja can have. But despite all of that, I still believe that Naruto is actually a genius. I know this might sound crazy, but hear me out for a second. According to Google, a genius is someone who has exceptional intellectual or creative power or other natural abilities. This means if we can prove that Naruto falls just under one of these categories, we can prove that he is a genius. But for us to be able to do that, we will first have to look at his character, his feats and accomplishments. At the start of the show, we learn that Naruto is an orphan, living all by himself inside a tiny apartment. And one day, a ninja called Mizuki makes use of this fact and tricks Naruto into stealing a scroll containing forbidden jutsus, one of which being the multi-shadow clone jutsu, a forbidden A-rank jutsu that allows you to create hundreds of thousands of copies of yourself. And Naruto manages to learn it and master it in a single night. Mizuki then tries to attack Naruto, but gets stopped by Iruka at the last second, making Naruto so mad that he uses this jutsu to beat the shit out of Mizuki. Iruka, now being the first person to have acknowledged Naruto, allows him to become a genin and join a group of 4, one of them being Kakashi, who would later teach Naruto alongside Jiraiya most of the basic skills a ninja should have. And interestingly enough, Naruto learns most of these things in no time. He learns things like how to use chakra to climb on trees, how to transform into random objects or persons, how to walk on water, how he can use portions of a Nine-Tailed chakra to summon giant frogs. He even learns how to make a Rasengan in a single week, a jutsu only known by Hokage level shinobi. But why is all of this important, you might ask? Well, according to a study done at the American Association for the Advancement of Science, children with a lack of care and attention have substantially lower IQs and more behavioral and psychological problems than children who had been better cared for. Does this sound familiar? Of course it does. Naruto was the only kid in his class who had no one to look after him. But it gets even crazier. The study showed that after moving to a foster home, the children went through astounding growth spurts. Dana Johnson even went so far as to say they can grow 5 times faster than normal, and by the time they've been in a foster care for a year and a half, they will nearly have caught up. And we can observe the exact same thing happening to Naruto. After traveling around for 2.5 years with Jiraiya, who has become a father figure to Naruto at that point, we can see Naruto do all sorts of things that you wouldn't have expected him to do prior to the time skip. Some examples being inventing a forbidden S-rank jutsu, something Minato couldn't even do, and he was regarded to be a one-of-a-kind genius. Learning perfect Sage Mode in no time, despite Kurama constantly trying to interfere and make it harder for him. Figuring out a way to beat the 3rd Raikage with the help of this guy here, finding a way to connect his chakra to Minato's chakra, allowing them to teleport everyone out of Obito's barrier, combining the Rasen Shuriken with 9 different elements, making it a combination of a Rasengan, Wind Release and another element. This list goes on, but I don't want to stretch out the video, so here's a list of all of the things I could think of. Got it? So if we now go back to our list, we can see that Naruto meets all of these criteria. He has exceptional intellectual power, as shown by him learning Sage Mode or creating his own jutsu, with Kakashi and other characters blatantly saying that he has the potential to surpass him and the 4th Hokage. Naruto has also a lot of moments where he shows his creative power, like when he used a variation of a sexy jutsu to try to catch Kaguya off guard, or that time where he used a fake spoiler to distract Kakashi during a fight. And it also makes sense, considering him being called the #1 most unpredictable ninja. The last one on this list is natural abilities, and Naruto has a lot of these, like huge amounts of chakra reserves, a strong life force, and even talk no jutsu could be considered a natural ability to some extent. But hold on a minute, why would the show constantly portray Naruto as an idiot, if he's supposed to be a genius, you might say? Well, actually Actually, it's quite simple. Manga writers often make their main characters intentionally stupid, so they can have an excuse to explain the basic rules and laws of their universe. Otherwise, it wouldn't make any sense for someone like Kakashi to explain the fundamentals of chakra to a person who already knows everything about it, just so we as the viewer can understand it. So all of these things point to Naruto being a genius. And it makes sense, since as an adult we see him running an entire country almost by himself. Yes, he gets help from Shikamaru, but the anime shows us that Naruto prefers to do most of the work by himself. But does all of that automatically mean that he is smarter than Shikamaru, Itachi, Minato or Madara? Probably not. By the way, who do you think is the smartest character in the show? Let me know down in the comments. In conclusion, Naruto is a genius and you should like, share and subscribe. And shout out to these people for commenting on my last video. Bye!